On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we have New York Comic Con trailers for Picard and Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Right after this.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David Z. Robertson.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm a lot better now that we have these trailers.
Right? I am super excited about both of these trailers that we're going to talk about today. Especially this Picard trailer, man.
Mm-hmm.
I am over the moon.
Yesterday, I got to go see Joker.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
And... oh, it's great. And I got out in the car and turned my phone back on and looked down. And I was like, holy crap, a Picard trailer dropped. Holy crap, a Discovery Season 3 trailer dropped. And then I was so excited about that, I didn't look further until about 2 or 3 hours before we recorded, or we were going to record it. And I said, oh man, they dropped a freaking short track.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good day to be a Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good day to be a Star Trek. Anyway, okay, so
I am a merry man.
You are a merry man? I don't get it.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
TNG episode Cupid, where they're pretending to be Robin Hood and the Merry Men.
Yeah, I figured that might be the reference, but I don't remember the joke.
Geordi is strumming on his little instrument or whatever.
His lute.
His lute, and Worf smashes it, and at some point, I connect those two scenes, but at some point, Worf says, "Captain, I must protest. I am not a merry man."
That's so silly. That's real silly. All right, let's dive into this Picard trailer. I mean, that's what we're going to talk about mostly today. I feel like that's going to be the meat of this episode. What's your major takeaways from this Picard trailer?
Well, I wish I could remember which episode of TNG Data was painting in. I know he did paint.
I'm sure we can track that down.
I'm sure we could.
And probably will.
Yeah. And, but, oh, gosh, I love seeing Data. I love seeing, I want to know what took place, because when he goes to take the paintbrush, you see the ships firing on that planet, whatever that was.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. Like, I'm getting lots of android stuff because it looks like there was a facility with androids and they were wearing the same B4 uniform from Nemesis.
Yeah.
And the one that they actually had, like, in focus had F8 on his head. F8, like B4.
Mm-hmm. Also, Fate of the Furious, for all you Fast and the Furious fans out there.
Right.
That was my biggest takeaway from this trailer is there's a lot more Android stuff going on in this than just Data.
We know that we have Borg stuff going on, like former Borg stuff. My biggest takeaway of the trailer: 7 of 9 is a badass.
Right, and so is
guns
Hugh.
a-blazing.
So is Hugh. Hugh's like running with some tactical gunplay as well. Yeah, and that makes me wonder if they're working together, which we know in Voyager, 7 of 9 did some things where she helped Borg with their develop individuality or whatnot. So like, is what Hugh is doing, which is also sort of helping other Borg develop their individuality. I really wonder if they're working together. And then that scene where they're running and gunning, they're both running and gunning in a very similar way. And it made me think that might be part of the same scene, or they might be part of the same strike force or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, remember that when we saw in the first trailer, or the actual first trailer, not the teaser, where they showed us the Borg cube in space, and then they showed us a number of what looked like former Borg, and it had a big sign up that said 0 days or however many days since last assimilation.
Yeah,
it's like AA for the Borg, I think. I don't know. And if there is going to be tied in with androids, I think there's going to be a rewatch of Descent in our future.
Yes, I think we're going to be doing a lot of rewatches here in the next few weeks leading up, because that's all we got, man. It's like a few weeks away till we're going to get, new Star Trek with starring Patrick Stewart, man.
Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh.
Excited. I'm so excited.
That's so crazy to me.
I just to throw out another theory, because that's half of what we've done talking about this Picard show, is who is this girl, right?
Yeah.
We know this girl seems like she might be the sort of inciting incident that gets Picard, out into the world again. Mm-hmm. Shows up on his land, and we also know it seems like something's going on with all these androids, and Picard is like slamming his fists and saying it's what the Federation should stand for. It's what it still should stand for. It made me think, what if she is like a really advanced android with emotions, and that's been outlawed?
Yeah, I wonder if that is what's happening. And he has that line in the trailer about your past always coming back to you. You're never safe from your past. I wonder if she's like another iteration of Law to some degree, or if she's like I wondered before, if she was somehow the daughter of Picard and the Borg Queen, maybe. Yeah,
or as I mentioned, possibly Shinzon and a Romulan concubine or something.
I don't know.
Or remind me, who's Lal? Is that's
Data's android daughter?
Yeah,
she passed away.
That's what I thought. And
from the episode The Offspring.
Yes, so maybe that was one we should add to the list.
I don't want to keep adding.
For those of you, we're trying to plan a rewatch of some Picard episodes, Picard Data Borg episodes, to try to prepare for the Picard series. And so far, we've decided Measure of a Man is going to be our first episode. So the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about the episode Measure of a Man. So if you want to join us in the rewatch, watch Measure of a Man.
Yeah.
And we should have a full list by the time we record that episode. There's so much in this trailer. We haven't even mentioned Riker and Troy yet.
Dude, first of all, Riker and Troy have kids. What up?
Yeah. They do.
And it's funny to me that we haven't seen that many Starfleet officers retire. But it's funny to me that when they retire, they move out of the country and prepare food and wash dishes. That's just always how we see them.
That's so weird to me. Why would you do that?
I mean, I guess, right? I mean, why wouldn't they? Because they they need to prepare food. But they always talk about...
that's the thing. They don't. That's exactly it. They don't at all. That's what the replicators are for.
Well, yeah, but they, I was about to say, on the show, they always talk about how the replicators are kind of shit. So
yeah,
they don't make food that's really good. So all these people, when they retire, they're like, you know what? I'm going to go find me a house out in the country. I'm going to be stationary. I'm going to live out my final years, have me a family, which this is Star Trek. So, I mean, we know these people live to their 140s, 150s or whatever.
It just seems to me like there would at least be some crew members that stay involved in the sort of futuristic society, continue to use holosuites all the time and live in a city, live in a big city. I don't know. It's strange that that's sort of the aesthetic they all go for.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they do. But we've really only seen Kirk, Picard, and Riker.
Yeah.
And it looks like, based on All Good Things, Beverly just became the captain of her own ship. Freaking LaForge, he was teaching, I think, or Picard, Data was definitely teaching. I can't remember if Geordi was actually teaching or not. or if that was just his wife. But they've definitely got their own things going on. So, I think Riker is close enough to Kirk, though, that he would just kind of be like, all right, well, I've done that. Time for me to go to a house and settle down and make eggs.
Well, it was just super exciting to see Riker and Troy.
It was, and I won't lie, man. I got teary eyed when with that shot of him and Picard on the dock, overlooking the lake.
Yeah, when he grabs his hand, it was real touching.
Yeah,
real touching. I'm pumped, man. And then all these new crew members, we know very little about them so far, but they all seem really worth investing some time into. I'm excited to see who all of them are. They all seem like they have their own things going on. What do you think about this old school Romulan vessel that we're seeing?
I don't know. I really...
It's like original series, right?
That's what it looks like to me. It looks a little more neon than original series, but it does look like a very original. I mean, it's absolutely the original series design. I've got a couple of iterations of that ship in my living room.
Yeah, what class ship is that? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's a warbird.
Okay,
it's just
that's
a Romulan warbird.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was the case. So. It's in the trailer so much, it made me think it might be the ship that they're on.
That would be great.
I think that'd be really cool if Picard is leading this, whatever this team is trying to do, and they're on an old Romulan ship. It obviously evokes Star Trek 4, where the original series crew is on the Klingon warbird.
Yeah. You know what pisses me off, though?
What's that?
You remember several years ago, you and I were trying to write and start up a fan Star Trek show about.
We were in the beginning stages of trying to write our own Star Trek fan show.
And it was about a ragtag group of people on a non-Federation ship, and one of those people was like a Romulan who carried a sword and had a long cloak.
Yeah, that all is true. We did write.
And had long hair.
We wrote this show 15 years ago.
Not this show,
but yeah, we definitely had some of the elements in our fan fiction. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're seeing exactly the Star Trek we wanted to see. Like, how can we complain? And we didn't even have to make it. That would have been a lot of work, man.
You're right.
You just sit back and watch this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know who this old man is that says you really want to get that back out there into the cold. He's really familiar. I know the actor. I wonder if he's been on Trek before, and I wonder if he's a character.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has. I just can't. I can't place it.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
There's also that strange line. Also, there's a lot of crazy stuff in here. There's a strange line where the guy says, "I'll get the information we need out of her," and then it shows him making out with this girl that we're presuming is like Picard's daughter or something. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he's like seducing her.
Right.
There's a shot of Borg body parts that's really gruesome with like severed limbs, and it's real gross.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't see that? Oh man, no. It's really gross. It's at about 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Oh, let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, do it. You can like see it's like Borg body parts hanging up.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And they have like just armholes where arms used to be, and there's a lot of dead bodies lying around. I don't know, man. This looks pretty intense, and it shows 7 of 9 crying.
Yeah, by the way, I don't think that I just looked at the shot and where the captain does a little wavy hand thing and we see a ship fly away. It is not that Romulan ship, so I'm pretty sure that is not the primary ship.
Well, I don't know which of those there's another ship that is fighting with that Romulan ship, and I can't tell for sure which one they're on, but also since it looks like at some point they're seducing her to get information, it doesn't look like they're all on the same team the whole time. So it made me wonder if they're fighting in the beginning and then they end up joining forces or something. Like that's a different person's ship, and maybe Picard's on this Romulan ship before he joins that other ship, or he defeats that other ships and brings them on as his crew or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways this could go. Man, it just looks exciting. It looks exactly the kind of Star Trek I love. That sort of adventure Trek, you know?
I'm happy that Picard is fencing in this thing.
I am not so happy about that so far. The only shot we have is that one, like, very short shot of him fencing, and it looks to me really bad. Like, that guy could easily kick his ass. He's a little too old for sword fighting with a guy in his prime or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could see it. We only got a little bit of it, and I didn't think it looked that bad. I just kind of laughed and was like, oh, Patrick. Because, I was just on the landing party over on Cosmic Potato, and we were talking about a book called, and I might actually post that here as well on this feed, but after they've gotten their views out of it or listens out of it, but we reviewed the Michael Piller book Fade In, which was his book on the making of Star Trek Insurrection, and he actually details a lot of Patrick Stewart's memos about how Picard should be acting in the movie and what he should be doing. Like, we've seen this very, stalwart intellectual in the TV show. Let's get him a bit of action. And pretty much like all of Patrick Stewart's suggestions were just like all the things I didn't like about the Next Generation movies. Or a fair amount of the things, not all of them, because some of those came from Rick Berman, but and Michael Piller, to be fair. But it just made me like knowing that Patrick Stewart also like really wanted the Doom buggy sequence in Nemesis. Just makes me feel like, man, he's an executive producer on Picard. I'm a little worried. He shouldn't be doing all these action sequences and stuff.
Yeah, that does worry me a bit that they're going to give him some more. Like, I want him to be cleverly defeating his enemies. Like I was saying, I'd love if he's in like that old Romulan warbird and then defeats some hotshot ship. Like, that'd be real cool. But I'd like him to defeat it through intelligence and command, not through sword fights. I don't know. So rewatching this again, they have the moment, it shows Data handing him the paintbrush, and there's this figure silhouetted that is not fully painted in, and I'm assuming this is a dream sequence, right?
I would assume, yeah.
And we're seeing the destruction of, I was guessing something to do with Romulus, but I'm not totally sure. And that makes me wonder if what if Picard had a love interest while in his work to try to unify the Romulans and the Vulcans? What if he had a love interest and this is Data in his dream painting her, but he never finishes painting her, and that's why when he tries to hand him the thing, like he sees the destruction because that's maybe where she died or something. I don't know. Just throwing out more theories. One of them's going to be right.
Yeah. Well, this cloaked figure that Data's painting doesn't have a face.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I wonder if that's like his love interest from long ago that it's painful for him to think about. In which case, that might be how he has a daughter who's tracking him down or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe he never knew. Maybe he thought she died in the destruction. Maybe he knew. Maybe he even knew she was pregnant. Thought she died in the destruction, and then the daughter survived somehow and tracking him down.
I feel like there's so much packed into this trailer that I'm not understanding. Like the girl this Dodge character who shows up, who might be his daughter, she has a necklace that's two interlocking circles. I feel like that's some sort of clue as to who she is too. And I might be wrong, but
I haven't even seen that necklace yet. There's so much. I love seeing
the Enterprise deal with the Galaxy class
ship in the foyer of Starfleet. Yeah, that's pretty rad. Man, all these androids. It's It's got a...
And it does look like a Borg alcove for real. Like, it looks like a Borg facility.
Yeah, it does. Like the facility where it looks like they're storing the androids. They're like building a Borg army or something. I don't know, man. I'm really curious. I like that they're going to be questioning where Starfleet's going. We'll get into it. I guess we could pivot now to the Discovery trailer if you want. But the stuff going on here and the stuff going on in the Discovery trailer, I can't help but connect them a little bit.
Really?
Just because you've got the Borg and like an army of androids, and then, moving on to, I guess, the Discovery trailer, in the future, the Federation has been brought down somehow. And it is a ghost of itself. Someone says, you believe in ghost stories, and says, I see that badge on your arm, or on your chest. It's like, so something has gone wrong, and we already know that from the Craft episode of the Short Treks. Actually, they talk about that. Well, they don't. They call it the Vidraish, but it's been confirmed that the Vidraish, who is the enemies of Craft's people, are a term that is used to be called the Federation. So that's, I don't know, man. I just like, see, this is the problem. Like, with shooting Discovery 900 years in the future, the problem is going to be now everything on Picard is now a prequel for everything happening on Discovery.
I wouldn't worry about that, man.
I'm hoping not to. Really, it's 900 years. 1,000 years is a long time. I'm hoping that it's far enough, but I can't help but be like, every time I'm rooting for the Federation to get their shit together, I'm going to be like, yeah, but they don't.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's kind of a bummer. That's why prequels are bad, and I just wish they'd...
Well, maybe they don't. You know, the future is always unwritten.
Except it's not. No, I don't know. You know. Anyway, you want to get on into talking about that next trailer?
Sure, we can talk about Discovery. So we get like a year in time jumps, it looks like, for Michael Burnham.
Yeah, which I just thought it was funny how much she made herself up in that time.
Yeah, I like her hair more long.
Yeah, I do too. I just think it's just funny, like, they show her with the hair growing, but also like getting it all braided and stuff. I don't know. Like, they show her 3 different times with 3 completely different hairdos, which I guess is just supposed to be denoting time, but
right. Well,
it was funny.
Just because she's, making herself up doesn't mean that she's not coming, or just because she's, not with the crew doesn't mean she's not finding and seeing people. Like, we know that she meets this book character, who, by the way, was great in Supergirl. He played, Manchester Black in Supergirl, and he was a real highlight of the season.
Cool.
And so I'm excited to see that guy. So we know that she's seeing some people somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it's fair.
Plus, she's doing it for her, man. She's keeping her civility. It's like how Voyager, didn't need to follow Federation rules because they were in the Delta Quadrant 70,000 light years away. But they were like, no, we're keeping, our wits about us and doing the thing.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's fine. It just is funny. It's a funny shot when it's just her sitting in a shuttle by herself, and it just keeps showing her like dolled up in different ways. I don't know. I found it funny. It's just a funny cut. Like, it's nothing wrong with it. She can dress however she like, but and I'm actually excited to see what that means for the crew, having a year of I guess exploring. Do you think that the Discovery comes through a year after her, or do you think that they just got separated somehow?
I don't know, and I would be okay with either of those things happening. It looked like there was sort of a reunion shot in that trailer where they're all like hugging and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think we're going to meet Dax? That's the biggest question I have about this trailer.
We might, dude.
I feel like we're going to have to meet Dax. I mean,
I don't know why why Michael would be bathing in the freaking waters at the cave of Makala, but okay. Because that's totally what she was doing.
Yep, that's right. It looks like they visited the Trill homeworld. And to me, you gotta, that's the only character in Star Trek we know of, other than maybe the Q. I mean, I guess there's lots of alien races probably and all kinds of ethereal beings and stuff, but like very few people who are sort of people could have lasted this long, 1,000 years in the future. And, I would love to see Dax show up.
Sure.
I would love it.
That'd be interesting.
I think it'd be neat. I know it's another one of those, like, makes the universe smaller because you just keep recycling characters, whatever, but like, it would be neat if like, you got good old Dax with all of Jadzia's and Ezri's and Curzon's memories. I don't know. It'd be neat. Be neat.
I won't lie. I would be happy to see it. What do you think about the Federation flag, man? It's only got 6 stars on it.
Yeah, that was weird to see. And I guess the Federation has just completely fallen in 930 years in the future. I don't know, man. It's weird. Burnham is their hope, supposedly.
Long hair Burnham is their hope.
I guess they're going to be trying to rebuild the Federation, as it were. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down with that too. That's fine. We saw some of what's her face? Michelle Yeoh. Is that her name?
Yeah,
her real name.
I was going to say it seems like I know they've been seeming like they want us to like her, but this future universe that seems fractured and doesn't seem like there's a center of power, at least from the trailers we've seen, and there's all this war going on, seems rife for the takeover of Georgiou.
Yeah. By the way, I looked at that shot in the trailer where there's the reunion bit, and it looks like it's just Tilly hugging Michael. So they very well could just show up a year later.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. It could literally be she landed and then she sat in a shuttle for a year waiting on them to arrive, like watching the wormhole or whatever. And because she went through first, she like towed them through or something like that. So, or like led them through. I don't remember exactly what was happening there.
At the 52-second mark in this Discovery Season 3 trailer, who is this lady with the Vulcan ears who is in a weird uniform messing around in what appears to be a Jeffries tube? Do you recognize her?
I don't know. I couldn't. I was actually going to ask, did I forget someone from last season? Yeah,
me too.
Also, you had me freeze it at 52. I mistakenly freezed it at 53, and I just realized that there's in those characters who are running with the red laser beam hands. You know what I'm talking about? One of them is clearly from Morn species.
Oh yeah, one of them's from Morn species, and then there's like 2 Andorians, a Cardassian.
Oh yeah, that's a Cardassian. I didn't see the Cardassian. Maybe a human, and then something else.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of resistance.
Yeah. Maybe resistance to the Federation. You think it could be a resistance to the Federation or a Federation resistance?
I don't know, man.
Is this the new Federation or is this the guys opposing it? I have no idea. I really don't.
I think the guy in the middle is a Trill.
Oh yeah, it might be. Maybe.
And they're running. It looks like they're running after Book and Burnham.
Cool. Everybody's kicking ass in this trailer. It looks cool. It looks fun, and I'm excited to see them build kind of like the Star Trek universe whole cloth. Like it's going to be a completely new universe, some history. Like you think about 1,000 years though. Like you mentioned, there's Andorians, there's Cardassians, there's Trill, there's whatever Morn species is. But like we don't know what their culture will be completely different 1,000 years into the future. You know. I'm excited to see what this what this is like, man. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real cool.
By the way, Morn species is Allurian.
Allurian. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's alluring. Okay. Well, that's anything else you want to mention from this trailer?
I don't think so. There's not a ton there.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot, but I mean, you know, I mostly wanted to focus on Picard today because that's, you know, as much as I'm excited about Discovery, I think I'm more excited for this season of Discovery than I've been for any other season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be cool. All right. Well, I guess that's the cast today, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, guys, we love you. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you're new, we talk about everything Star Trek here, and we try to cover everything, and we'll continue to do so. So we'll be doing we're going to be doing a Picard rewatch coming up. Measure of a Man is going to be our first episode. It's the episode where Data is put on trial for whether he has rights or not. And I think, based on this most recent trailer, we're really thinking that's going to be a part of this new season. So, yeah, maybe not at all. Maybe not at all. Could just be a red herring that maybe they just have a slave race of androids that don't have emotions and it's never brought up. It's very possible.
I think it's safe to say that Nemesis will probably be on our rewatch.
Unfortunately. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back with you very soon. We're going to talk. Actually, we're going to be covering the short treks in a couple days. The new short trek Q&A that just dropped. We're going to cover that in a couple days, and we're going to be back with Measure of a Man and probably next week. So we'll be back with you soon. Peace.
Live long and prosper.
To reach out to us, hit us up at StarTrekUcast.com, at StarTrekUcast on Twitter, or search for the Star Trek Universe Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. And if you want to hear more from David C. Robertson, search for the DC On Screen podcast in your podcast app now, or go to maladjusted.tv for his comedy sketches. If you want to hear more from me, Matthew Carroll, search for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or the Orville Universe podcast in your podcast app, or check out my music. Just search for Matthew Carroll wherever you listen to music.